Welcome back to Divulgence, everybody. Lots going on, and I'm very excited to bring back friend and favorite of mine and yours, Mr. William Ramsey. What's going on, William? Good to see you again.
Likewise. Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. So today we're going to talk about Jeffrey Epstein, all the documents that have been pumping out, all the revelations we've been finding. Where would you like to start, William? I know you've obviously you've downloaded all the files, you've been going through them and kind of trying to put together the pieces, but obviously there's still so much that's missing. But yeah, I guess first question, what are your thoughts on the recent dump and the revelations you've been seeing?
It's a huge dump. It's probably one of the most important data sets I've seen in my life, relating to what was going on behind the scenes, and just a massive criminal enterprise, and people have to be arrested, and they only got 2. So people are still trying to figure it out, but there's literally baby farming, child rape, child trafficking, just the worst of the worst, possible murders, code words, bodies buried in Zorro Ranch. Like, literally, the authorities, in my understanding, in New Mexico now have an open investigation into see if there's bodies buried at that ranch because of what came out of the files. So it's actually having real world effects. People are getting fired or quitting. They probably quit before they got investigated, is really what's happening. They probably just really, there's like a list, I have to go find it, but there's been some recent changes. There's names that are popping up. There's like a lot of secret conversations that people never thought would see the light of day. There's a lot of back talk and a lot of things that they're saying about so-called friends. So this is I mean, it's basically Eyes Wide Shut real life. Is really that bad. Like, there's stories about Bush and sacrificing kids and just horrible stuff. And this is what they redacted a lot of the stuff. They did a lousy job on the redactions. I think there's tampering with the files that they released on the 30th. It's been a week. But people are really trying to put it together and try to understand all the stuff. But yeah, fired, ousted already. So, I mean, the guy was a monster. You know, he had herpes. There's all kinds of video of him with kids that they redacted. So a lot of stuff never said it. I mean, maybe we can show the guy who's heading it is this guy Blanche. And I have a video of him where he literally says, like, we didn't even put out the kind of criminal stuff. Like, this is what
depiction of CSAM.
Sorry to cut you off there. Keep going.
Oh, go ahead, play that.
Play it. Okay.
Any depiction of CSAM or child pornography was obviously excluded. Anything that would jeopardize an active federal investigation. And finally, anything that depicts or contain images of death, physical abuse, or injury, also not produced.
These are huge tells. That means that he had pictures of death, abuse, and injury.
Right. Sorry, you know what? I want to play that one more time just so people can, because it goes by quick, so people properly sink in what he's saying, what is not included in these dumps.
Any depiction of CSAM or child pornography was obviously excluded. Anything that would jeopardize an active federal investigation. And finally, anything that depicts or contain images of death, physical abuse, or injury, also not produced.
So that's huge. So that's anything related to child pornography, anything that would warrant investigation, essentially, or anything related to, you know, like crazy abuse, injury, you know, murder, stuff like that. That covers a lot of stuff. That essentially covers, you know, the quote unquote buried bodies of all these conspiracies that are out there, right? So that is like the treasure trove, if there is one, I would think.
The government has it. That means they've seen it. This is very important. They went through all the, there's literally 6 million documents. People who are bandying about these things of 3 million aren't, may not understand the totality of what's going on, but everything wasn't released. So that means that there's like millions of documents that are really criminally, like, would indicate somebody's involved in criminal activity. I mean, so
That's
yeah,
huge.
people have to understand that this is still a huge event, but it's not all the facts that they haven't seen the public. The redactions are there. There's multiple, there's like some of these documents are dupes. There's like 3 or 4 of the same document. So to say that there are 3 million original documents is not correct. And it's actually, they've done a bad job because, I mean, I don't want to reveal everything, but for people who are researching, if you find just copies of the same documents, the redactions are different. So you can actually find out what the real names are and some of these real like emails. So on one document, they'll show the name and email, and in another, they'll redact the name, but keep the email. So if you know the email, you know the name they redacted, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So they did that for Mark Epstein, his brother. And he's like, what's the gynecologist that you used for the kids you injured or your victims? He literally used the word victims, Mark Epstein. So he's talking about victims. So it sounds like he's part of this, RICO case, like a racketeer influenced corrupt organization, the Jeffrey Epstein organization. Like, I mean, it's astonishing that they didn't go through. I have documents that'll blow your mind. Play this one from Call Center Cash. This is, I mean, we can go Bondi, Cash. All these people said there's nothing in the files. If they did, look at this bald-faced liar. He's lying to Congress.
Right? Yeah. Here we go.
Credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And the information we have, again, is limited.
So the answer is no one
For the information that we have
in the files.
in the case file.
Okay.
These files are, the FBI is under the DOJ. So it goes Bondi, and then underneath is the head of the FBI, him.
Yep.
That's the Department of Justice, and this Blanche is the Deputy Attorney General. So these guys, I mean, they are lying. Bondi is lying too. And that whole rollout, if you remember that lame white binder rollout, of like the most they literally wrote on there like something like the
Phase
stupidest freaking Orwellian thing imaginable, which is like the most transparent administration. They had to Congress had to wrangle these things out of the administration. They passed the act in 2025 that mandated 30 days. Like, they were late on the delivery too. But it's like they're breaking the law by not putting this stuff out. Like, they're literally in contempt of congressional stuff. So it's just an incredible event. When you look at this stuff, there's like massive evidence of criminal behavior, violence, murder, torture, trafficking. There's videos of kids that they redacted.
Drugs, underage drinking.
I mean, weird drugs, weird associations,
experiments. Yeah, measuring girls, measuring little kids with his finger.
And one of those testaments we can go through. I don't think I sent you this document, but this girl's talking about her babies being taken away.
I have heard something on that. Absolutely,
that document.
Wild stories, man. Just wild in the sense that they're so scary.
This is just one. I mean, these are things that I don't know. Like, I don't know if somebody's on the inside, like inside DOJ, like, let's just slide that in there. You know what I mean? Like, there's probably people who really are working in the public interest that cannot say they're working in the public interest, which is maybe why they did this whole redaction dupe.
Maybe.
Yeah. I think that might be the case, because
that's a big football to fumble.
It sure is. Absolutely, it is. And that's like the government has unlimited funds, so these lawyers are looking through it. They're all getting paid bank $150,000 a year.
The bill just keeps going, and
yeah, they don't care. I mean,
they don't give a shit.
No. So it makes me think that there might have been some intentional, like, I'm going to subvert Blanche. Like, I'm going to put this out because I just showed you that document in the pre-show. It's not naked kid, right? But it's Jeffrey Epstein with like a 9-year-old girl with his face in her derriere. Like, whoa, this is just what we saw. And so this whole thing about Epstein from the get-go, all the way back to the original case that was in 2006, 2007 is always like, oh, we're just with, young teen girls who are women or whatever. And that's this drop completely destroys that mythology. It's a total myth because he's definitely with little children. He's around little children.
A lot of photos
People
now
keep
that you
telling
can
me.
find where he's clearly with children or very underage girls. And I've heard people say, oh, well, that could be anyone's child that's visiting with him. But I mean,
Some maybe are, but who cares?
some maybe
Like,
are,
it
but
may be even worse if he's like going.
that could be
after the
worse. What if
children of
that
his
girl that we
friends,
saw in the picture where he's got his face in her derriere
right?
is a royal's daughter or a politician's daughter or a CEO's daughter, and he has it framed in his house?
Yeah, it's so crazy.
That's another thing with all these crazy photos that you see framed, and all this crazy, sexy, and some of it's like occultic, like art, like and like Clinton in the dress and the weird 9/11 Bush portrait. These people are going to visit this guy. He's got all this art around him, all these people around him, and they're trying to say like, "Oh, I just associated with him. That doesn't mean I did anything wrong." Like, how stupid do you have to be not to figure out that, okay, this guy is like a sex maniac based on, the girls all over him, the underage girls all over him, the borderline pornography all over his house, and who knows what else people were privy to, that we just haven't seen, right?
They're playing dumb because this guy was very overt, and he kind of advertised, like he was advertising his people, like I called it industrial scale child trafficking and teen trafficking. And I was on Tommy's podcast yesterday or the day before, and he called it like Walmart levels of this kind of thing. And I think it's a good term. So it's almost like they were scoping for victims constantly trolling for a certain type kid. They're very racist. A lot of words like goyim, but they would never traffic black kids. So and you almost never see Latino or something. You just see a certain type. Yeah.
Yes, you do. You absolutely
light
do.
eyes and that kind of thing.
Usually blonde or light haired, light skinned.
Yeah. So and no Jews too. No Jew girls trafficked, right? So that's kind of whoa, that's even worse. Wow, yeah. We're not going to touch our own, and they're not all Jews, by the way. Epstein, his brother,
no,
Jewish.
no. But there's obviously
Gates isn't Jewish. Trump's not Jewish. He might have converted. There's rumors. A lot of it's just Daily. Some of these other people who are around are not Jews. So to just say it's all Jews, but Epstein's the head, and Wexner and the mega group or the people behind him to kind of get him started. But it's just this drop is just off the charts. So when you hear Bondi and Kash Patel saying we have no evidence, like literally perjuring, I mean, you're not supposed to lie to Congress. It's not even my opinion. They're lying. And I'll show you this document here. This might be there's incredible documents we can go through. I've sent them to you, but this might be the most important document of all these millions of documents that were dropped. And I'll tell you why. I'll explain it to you.
What are we looking at here, William?
This is a document. And we can go through these numbers too, so people can write them down. You can go find these in the files. But if you're listening to this, get this document. The prefix is always EFTA. This one's EFTA 02731082. And what is this? So when they're saying there's no evidence, the U.S. attorney at the time in 2019, after Epstein died in August of 2019, this guy did some work on this. This is our tax dollars, right? I don't know. Jeff Berman, I forgot where he was from, but they investigated into potential co-conspirators, right?
Okay.
And this isn't like some 2-page document, bro. This is 85 pages of a lot of it. Look at the intense redactions.
A lot of black
here.
there, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of redactions, but it basically goes into potential conspirators. Not just that, but with case law. So he's looking at criminal case law. He's talking about investigative steps, interviews with victims. They have 24 interviews with victims, and you can see them. This is 5, 6. I'm sorry, you can't. It's hard to follow, but basically, there's tons of like they compiled all these witness statements. 8 years old. The whole. I mean, this is something I probably could just go through and try to read myself. But if you see on this page, this is the 12th. This is page 22. This is the 12th story of a traffic victim. 13th, 19, 21. It's actually ad nauseum. Like they did a ton of research on this. Then there were interviews of people who were abused as adults, so not just as children. And then there's like, let's see, 12 of these. And then they put like all these names on here. So like the possible people who were working, interviews of witnesses who weren't sexually abused. And then like this is an incredible document because it showed like they compiled the stuff. And then this Berman character is going to talk about what crimes they committed here at the end. And a lot of it's redacted. So the names, but you can kind of tell, I'm trying to get to it, like co-conspirators, Attorney Meenigs, counsel for Ghislaine. But then it says additional document review, sex trafficking of minors, and then the transportation. So these are like the codes. You know, you're not supposed to transport, statute, enticement. These are the codes. United States Code, section 2422B, right? And then analysis. This is all, the redactions are incredible. Knowledge of age. So this is like a list of the co-conspirators. It's all done, but Ghislaine Maxwell, Leslie Groff. C, I don't know who that is. B, so they were looking at other co-conspirators. Crazy. That's the name of the document right here. Investigation into potential co-conspirators. So to say that they didn't have evidence when they compiled the evidence themselves in their document, granted, this is a different administration. Well, it shouldn't be. When did Trump get? I think Trump was in office right now. At the first administration, right? So he left. Yep. He left. So maybe these new people aren't aware of this document, but I'm aware of it now. So to say that they weren't compiling information about co-conspirators is thing. The only people who were arrested were Epstein and Maxwell, to my knowledge. So I think this is a very important document. Yeah.
Crazy. Do you know?
Yeah, it is crazy.
Quick question. No. Maybe you got some of this from your discussions with Sarah McCarthy, because she's. I reached out to her and she's not putting her book out anymore, and like do you think victims are starting to feel a bit scared because more stuff's coming out and they might start reining the reels in a bit?
I think that the public interest is I think everybody's interested. Everybody's talking about it, at least not on the mainstream media is blaming Russia, which is so stupid. Right. Like, who watches the mainstream media? It's really telling. Like, I think I had one commentator, it was Clint Russell, said, like, what's not amazing is how stupid it is, but that how uniform it is across media in the United States and the West. Like, even in the Europe, they're saying, oh, he's a Russian federal agent. Like, where's this coming from? It's completely stupid. But people on the alternate media or whatever, the new media, I guess you could call it, they know what's important. The thing is like, people have been speculating that this kind of stuff is happening behind closed doors. That's why films like The Matrix and Eyes Wide Shut, John Wick, maybe these things where there's large groups of people doing nefarious things, have an interest in the public, or have captured the public mind. It's because people think it's happening, and then this is the proof that they literally talk about Eyes Wide Shut in the files. They're doing backroom deals. They're paying people off. There's huge funds. Epstein brags, or at least it shows that he is a front person for literal Rothschilds, like this old ancient banking dynasty with $160 billion to put in funds. And so he's an investor for them. So he's, this is just one thing. And he's throwing money. There's lists all around for money. People are getting paid to do certain stuff. So he's kind of like a front. he seems to be a front person for that. He lived till he was 66, so he's been around a while. There's a lot of kids he raped, but it is extraordinary that this is coming to the public in such a vast way, and other researchers are really digging in. So the mass media, I think these are huge tells too, Jordan, is that the fact that they're not talking about it is a story in itself. So you can see some of these other commentators trying to think, like CBS News, which was recently taken over. Like they don't even cover it, or they're covering it up. They're not assessing the enormity of it, or some of these other news commentators like Ben Shapiro. Like I've tried, like, are you going to say anything? And he's just saying there's nothing. He's another one, kind of like Kash Patel. There's nothing in there. So why are these people saying there's nothing in there when there's incredible stuff? It's not even, like I said, I showed you the Blanche video from the beginning.
Yeah.
We haven't even seen the darker stuff. It's been kept from the public.
Yeah.
So like what is in that stuff? Like, and it also validates a lot of the Pizzagate kind of the original 2016 Podesta emails, if you remember those.
Yes.
There's use of the terms pizza. There's all these secret terms they're using outside, almost like mob terms. So there's like pizza, shrimp,
Hot dog.
grape soda, walnut sauce. Like these overlap with what was going on in the Podesta files, and it at least seems like according to the emails, he knew about the Podesta files, so he was keeping tabs on stuff. So you see these emails are also kind of a search history of what he's interested in. So I mean, even they're the same. I think the same effect of like minimization, manipulation, infiltration that happened during Pizzagate is going to happen with this. The same type of like tampering down. I've heard equations between the Epstein files and satanic panic. So you see these things. Like,
Really?
yeah. So they're like, oh, why are you panicking? Why are you worried? But this involves murder and child rape, like the worst things imaginable: child rape and infant trafficking. Like I don't know. There's weird pictures of him with babies. Like I don't know what he's doing. Like, is he taking just family? According to what the information is, he never had children. But there's information according
now
to
things are coming out that he probably did.
Sarah Ferguson, which is Andrew, who got, if you remember, Prince Andrew was sued by Virginia Giuffre, rest in peace, who supposedly committed suicide last. Which supposedly that's what happens in Eyes Wide Shut, right? They all committed suicide. I'm surprised that she would fall apart after going really in the trenches against these people.
Yeah.
Anyway, she said Andrew was one of her like John's, but her husband in the Prince Andrew, the brother of King Charles. His wife is Sarah Ferguson, and she in the files, in the email, sent something to Jeff Epstein about, oh, I didn't know you had a son. And then in that same email chain, she says, I'll never forgive you because I know you came to me to get to Andrew. Right? And that's kind of the influence operation, evidence of this kind of blackmail influence currency operation that they were running, was really try to get something to the thumb on whoever they could. And it's really interesting too, because that's just one element. But if you type in the search engine blackmail, the word just blackmail itself, it pops up and you see these people, they're trying to blackmail people. I couldn't get any blackmail on them.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I didn't get blackmail, or, do you know this? He's not going to talk. There's statements in here where they're like, oh yeah, he's not going to talk. So they know that they're engaged in some kind of nefarious stuff. So it's really bad. And it's making all these people who said there's nothing here look like, out to me, just overt liars. Like they're just straight up lying to the public. And that whole release of the white binders was case in point of a total joke of stuff that was redacted in those white binders, of stuff that I had read before. So it was like old files. These are all fresh, and like I've sent you PDFs of pictures of Epstein the public has never seen.
Yeah, right. You want to get
We
into
can go to those jail pictures if you want.
Okay, let's start with that. It's just wild. And like just the thought that Epstein and a lot of these people were like, oops, sorry, I'm having a little difficulty here. Were eugenicists. The thought of
we can
him
go to
having,
that Trivers document after this too, if you want.
Okay, great, perfect, yeah.
Because that shows his interest in this kind of transhumanism, eugenicist stuff. That's not the document.
No, sorry, William. I'm just.
But no, that's all right. That's the Sarah Ferguson thing. Yeah.
I was frozen, so everything's just unfreezing on me right now. There we go. Okay. Let's pull up the proper document here. A lot of stuff with Andrew too. A lot of new stuff with Andrew. Those photos of him, I'm sure you've seen the ones with him on all fours over that. What seems to be, she looks pretty young to me. And some have said, "Oh, well, he's just giving mouth to mouth or CPR or something like that."
This picture.
Yeah, where he's over the girl and he's like looking up at the camera and smiling and just looks absolutely disgusting. Yeah, that photo. Unbelievable.
Is it that pic right there that I put up?
Yeah, it's that one. Yeah.
I think you can show that. I think it's legal to show that. But that doesn't look, you can tell by the size of the girl's arm. She's she's very young. She looks
Yeah,
13
that's what
or
I'm
14
saying.
to me. They said something about him being a maniac too and showing up for causing chaos and stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty
He
disturbing.
looks like a menace, man. Like, what? Look at, he's got his. I didn't notice this before. He's got his socks off, so obviously, like, he's pretty comfortable wherever the hell he is. Oh man.
Yeah, no, it's bad.
Yeah.
These are evil,
Definitely.
evil freaking people, man. These are demon people. You know what's interesting about them is the people who got arrested or paid out, they didn't protest that much. They really didn't. Like when Ghislaine Maxwell, she never said, "I'm innocent. I never did anything wrong." You know what I mean? Like that's what somebody
true,
who was innocent would do. Like, F you, I'm not involved in any of this nefarious stuff, this sinister stuff. So there, if you remember the timeline, we can go back to Epstein all the way up to his arrest. He was arrested at Teterboro Airport, July 7th, 2019. And then the public was told that he tried to commit suicide on the 23rd, right? Where he was bunked with this guy who literally killed 4 people in a bar in the mid part of New York State.
Was this the big freaking mob?
Yes, Nicholas Tartaglione.
Tartaglione, right? Yeah.
And I think when he was in jail, they weren't giving him steroids anymore. But when he was out of jail, he was roided to the max. Like you could just tell. Like
you look at the photos of him, like his neck is
crazy.
It's disgusting.
Anyway, he was in there and then he came out and he this is what he looked like. He seems to be drugged. This is my opinion. He seems to be drugged here. He's not lucid. He's not in a state of like, hey, something happened or I tried to kill myself. To me, what I think happened is they probably drugged him and Tartaglione was supposed to finish the job and he may have thought he was dead and he wasn't. So I think that's why he was arrested. My opinion, these are my opinions. That's why he was arrested, to get into jail to kill him, much like John Luke Brunel, right? It's a great place to off somebody. Because there's no real witnesses. You can pay off the guards or whatever.
And more stuff is coming out about the nights of his actual death that just doesn't make sense. The extra sheets, all these, like, so many extra sheets he had, just ridiculous amount of sheets.
Well, in these files, they show the supposed noose, and it's not consistent with his injuries. Like, it's just not consistent. That they like, you can see we can show the pictures, and it's like, this doesn't make sense.
If you got them in front of you, you can throw them up there. the ones where it shows like his neck bruising
Yeah.
and whatnot. Yeah.
I mean, we can go to that next.
Okay.
But I think that this document's telling you can see Tartaglione if you go down. You can see a picture of him.
Yeah, he does. At first, I just thought maybe he was closing his eyes, trying to look calm, but yeah, maybe he is doped up. And that photo is always weird too, where he's actually awake. It's like he's just posing for a photo almost.
But according to this file, it's you're blinking in and out, FYI. Additionally, Epstein stated he could recall an incident. This is what's this file number again? It's EFTA 000494000. So people can just go look up those numbers. But Epstein stated he could recall an incident that occurred 2 days prior when Tartaglione went out to court, and when Tartaglione returned, he was upset. Epstein stated he attempted to talk to Tartaglione, and Tartaglione called him a pedophile. Epstein stated he does not feel suicidal. He has a new cellmate, but he gets along with. He's able to sleep with a CPAP machine. And then Tartaglione said he thought Epstein was having a heart attack because his eyes were open and he appeared to be snoring. Like, that's weird. Tartaglione stated he does not have any issues being housed with Epstein, although he keeps the conversation to a minimal. Tartaglione stated previously during one of their conversations, Epstein made him uncomfortable when Epstein stated 14 is legal in most states, and I don't understand what's the problem here. That's not the problem. The problem is you had younger kids than that. Yeah. Like these are little kids and children, but yeah, it's this is what I think is the first attempt on his life. And there's another set of documents I sent you that I think I sent you the death investigation. Did I send you that?
Let me take a peek here.
It's EFTA 00161494.
Got it. Let me pull that up for you.
Nobody's seen this before in the public since, Friday. This is unknown. But I think this is very telling in a lot of ways. It goes through the timeline. So it was July 6th, 2019, he was arrested. So I apologize. I got the day wrong. But I think that the grand jury kind of came back with charges during that time or before that. He was in a incredible tells that are here. He was assigned to sell.
You cut out for like 5 seconds there, William.
Yeah,
so I missed
you cut out too. I don't. One of us is cutting out. I don't know who it is.
Okay.
But this is just incredible stuff. The information on here, if accurate, but he gets the suicide. The first so-called suicide attempt is on the 23rd. Suicide watch, and then the psychologists conduct a suicide assessment. This is page 5. Epstein denied remembering how he ended up on suicide watch. So he did not remember and denied current suicidal thoughts or ideation. So I'm not suicidal, right? So why are they telling the public he's suicidal, right? That's the story in the mass media, is that he tried to commit suicide on the 23rd. Yeah. It was unclear if he placed the string around his neck or if someone else did. He was deemed a moderate risk. He was taken off suicide. The next day, the 24th, Epstein denied suicidality and stated, I have no interest in killing myself and that it would be crazy to take his life, although he was depressed and unhappy. The next day after that, on the 25th, Epstein asserted he did not recall how he got the marks on his neck. He didn't know. How do you not know?
What?
You're either drugged or something happened. Like you either administered something like a sleeping pill or something. And he complained. He denied suicidality again. So 2 days after he supposedly commits suicide, I'm too vested in my case to fight it. I have a life and I want to go back living my life. So, and then he would remain on psychological observation out of an abundance of caution, given that he had yet to give an account of how he got the marks on his neck. So he's not admitting that he put a noose around his neck and killed himself. This is so important if these facts are true.
That's huge, right? William. Wow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely it is. So he's denying it. So that's 2 days after the so-called first suicide. The day after that, clinical contact. Epstein denied suicide. So he denies being suicidal again. Denied suicidal ideation to intention or plan, and referred to himself as a coward and I'm Jewish, and said he was not someone who liked pain and would ever attempt to harm himself.
I wish they would give his state of mind, like his demeanor during this.
There are written notes that that they go into this in detail.
More of that would help.
Yeah, well, I've seen them. I just, I'm
Okay.
kind of doing a broad overview of the files, but I mean, I could just do a whole show on the so-called first suicide attempt, because it's really incredible, because this does not comport with somebody suicidal. He's not asking for help either. Like, hey, I have a clinical contact here. I'm suicidal. I don't feel well.
Right.
Give me some drugs or antidepressants. It's like, no, I denied again. 4 days after. So he's denying it day after day after day. And then on the 27th, Epstein said he could not remember what happened in the special housing unit. He's in the special housing unit. He denied suicide ideation again and said, I'm a coward. He would remain on psychiatric observation. The next day, the 28th, he denied suicidal ideation. So almost a week after, on the daily, he's like, no. You have to remember the earlier case. If you remember the earlier case, that he got out and was on like, some kind of like agreement with the jail where he could leave and go home at night, right?
Yeah.
So he's probably thinking in his mind, this
That'll
is just
kick
him.
in. Yeah.
I've got the best lawyers, and I can pull some strings on, my contacts or whatever, and beat these charges, right? So, because he beat them before, right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
29th. One more night to get a good night's sleep. You return to the special housing unit. We could say they couldn't put him in general populace because he's a pedophile. He'd get killed, right? That's why he's partially in the SHU.
He is the file at this point.
Bro, you cannot write this stuff because they are keeping him out of the general pop, but they put him in with a guy who killed 4 people. Like Tartaglione, he was a dirty cop, and he was dealing drugs, and he thought somebody was stiffing him on a deal, right? Yeah. And so he lured him to a bar and zip tied him to death. It's very strange too that he zip tied his first victim to death. So he strangled him to death. And then Jeffrey Epstein gets strangled, right? Like, wow, what a coincidence. Then the guy's friend showed up at the bar and he shot them all in the head. And then he took all 4 of the bodies and took them to his property and buried them. This is really rough stuff, heavy duty mob stuff, So they put him into this thing, special housing unit with Tartaglione. They never explained why Tartaglione had to go into the special housing unit, right? Does that make sense? This is a dude who probably could handle himself.
Yeah.
In the general pop. Does that make sense?
And not only that, but he probably would have enough respect and connections to have some backup too, right?
For sure.
So,
I think a lot of mobsters roll through that. One of the interesting things is some of these mobsters have been in there. And one was this guy, Francesi, who was a kind of big time mobster. And another guy whose name I can't remember. He was an enforcer. Real tough guys, no joke, not the kind of soft dudes. But one of the guys.
Oh, shit. Cut out again, William.
Somebody's blinking out. It's either me or you.
There you are. You're back. You're back.
Well, one of us is blinking out. I don't know if it's me or you, because you're blinking out too. It's not just me.
Damn. Okay.
Anyway, they said Bill Barr was lying. 7:30, one week after, Epstein denied again suicidal ideations.
I don't know why it keeps fucking doing this. Okay, I think he's gonna come back, pop right in. There we go. I don't know why that's happening.
Yeah, somebody doesn't want this information to come out.
Yeah, man, seriously. Holy shit. Let's hope we can finish this off.
Anyway, a week after Epstein, for a
Fuck. This is ridiculous. There we go.
Are you running any other programs? Check 1, 2. Are you running any other programs?
No, just a couple browsers and a couple
That should do it.
PDFs.
If you go to page 6 on this document that I have, you have it right at the right spot.
Okay.
On August 1st, he's dead August 10th. Like, I'm pretty sure he's dead. All the speculation about him being alive is, I think, fallacious.
So sorry, where are we? The 29th right now?
We've just talked about 723. Every day he's in front of a clinical contact. He's saying he's not suicidal, right?
Okay.
Then he goes off to court on August 1st, 2019. He comes back from court. The USM asks him to sign a form that noted he had suicidal tendencies.
What the hell?
They want him to. This is so incredible. So the jail wants him to sign a form with suicidal tendencies where he's telling them over and over, I'm not suicidal, I'm a coward. He's saying he's too much of a coward to commit suicide. He respects his life, right? And they're like, oh, yeah, well, he was seen for a suicide risk assessment. Epstein seemed surprised that there was a form noting suicidal tendencies. He denied again that he had suicide. They wanted him to put in writing that he was suicidal so that they could suicide his ass. Do you get it?
Oh,
That's what, in my opinion, they were doing. And now this is evidence of it. He's saying no. He goes to court. He's like fighting this in court. He's meeting with his attorneys all the time. He has an attorney conference on the 9th, the night before he's dead. There's verbal counts, and then they certify everything, and then he's dead in the early morning of August 10th.
So
somebody says he hung himself day 10 at 6:35 a.m. Lieutenant notified control center. Officer 3 appeared distraught and said, "We messed up. I messed up. She's not to blame. We didn't do any rounds." So that's what they told the people, is he didn't do any rounds. Epstein is moved to the second floor medical area, and nurse performed CMT until EMT arrived. He was transferred in evidence. He was officially pronounced dead at 7:36 a.m. on August 10th, right? Now, I got another question for you. If you scroll down, you'll see the kind of like layout of where he was. He was in Epstein in cell 220.
Also, before you get into that, it's kind of weird how like this what is it, Officer 3 appeared distraught and said, "We messed up. I messed up. She's not to blame." Like something crazy's going on, someone's dead or dying, and like that's your concern, is like, no, it's not her fault, it's my fault. This is what happened.
Right.
Like,
good points.
Yeah, all right.
Good point. They're already apportioning blame. Like
Yeah.
they may not even know. Like
They're already writing the story.
I think you're right.
Oh, this is a good outline. Okay.
So people accompanied the remains. They see his body. He's accompanied to the morgue by Officer Blank. So like people are watching this. We have the pictures. They're here. But if you look at this, I think it's page 9. When you see these cameras that they put out in the last, not the one from Friday, but before, You're not even seeing the correct camera that shows Epstein's cell because he's down a hallway. It's a straight ahead hallway, right? Because you can see his cells number 220. What they show you is the one that's pointing what would be southeast, right, on this map.
Right.
So they're not even showing you like the right door to Epstein's, cell when they show that. So people are like, well, I don't see any movement. Well, you're not even seeing the right the
that's
camera
why.
angle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like people are just, I mean, this is like people are getting clarity now, much like me. But anyway, so you can see a picture of the housing unit on page 12 if you scroll down. That's a cell. You can see the tape of the cell if you go to page 14. That was where he was in the cell in 220. It has the yellow tape, excuse me. And then there's the pictures of Epstein, which are consistent with the pictures that I found of him, of his stomach and his belly, his chest hair.
Okay.
This is very consistent. So if they faked it, let me see if I can find those pictures. If they faked it, they did a grand job. Like they really knocked it out of the park.
Gotta give them credit where credit is due. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, if they faked it, it's a magisterial fake. It's like
It's an A plus. It's an A
100%. 100%. I think that really what I see is that they really wanted him dead, and that to me makes perfect sense. Like they don't want this guy around. He knew too much.
Yeah.
Trying to find this other picture.
For those who think like, oh well, he's got so much power that they're gonna make sure he survives. Well, once things started going the direction they did, I think just about anyone who was quote unquote on Epstein's side would have been ready to jump ship the second their opportunity came to save themselves. So yeah. And maybe he just didn't expect that. Like you said, he thought maybe he was getting out of there soon, just like the last time he got out. Maybe he thought it was going to be a repeat of that. Yeah, that's why I'd like to know more about his demeanor when he's saying, I'm not suicidal. Like, is he going, I'm not fucking suicidal? What the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
Like, let me talk to my fucking lawyer. Or is he just saying,
they're in the
no,
files. I'll have to go back through. I didn't unfortunately have those prepped, so I apologize.
That's okay.
But
that's
okay. I just recall
so many questions to ask, right?
the psych clinician that I mentioned earlier took notes. There's like definitely kind of notes for this. I'm trying to find his videos. Shoot. The reason I want to find this video is because it shows his hairy stomach.
Okay. Have you watched any of the speaking of video, any of the Bannon Epstein interview?
No, I have not. I think you.
That one's pretty wild. Just kind of gives you a good insight into this operation they were kind of running and trying to set forth. And yeah, it seemed like Epstein had big plans for his future. So, in your opinion, look how his hands are freaking zip tied in that one, eh?
If so you can bring up that video that's on there, that's his. This is a redacted video of his. Like there was about 2,000 videos, but because I'd seen this FBI video that we're seeing now, this is him. So you can see he kind of had a hairy torso, right? This is him alive. Like I think you can play this. Oh, maybe
I think it's just a photo.
Yeah.
Oh no!
But this. Well, let me tell you. You have the. Oh, did I take that down? Sorry.
Yeah.
The call number or the code number is EFTA 0164871. Again, EFTA 01648721. So you can go to justice.gov.epstein and get that, and it validates what we see here. So if you can bring that other document back.
So to reiterate, it's your opinion that essentially all this work they're doing is just maybe for show. You think he's been dead for a significant amount of time at this point?
Yeah, I think they aced him. I think my opinion, something happened at the jail. and people were told to just go walk away. We'll take, don't sit and threaten probably, or given money or bribed. It's kind of like the mob thing. What do they call it? Plomo or plata. You take the silver or the lead. So I'd assume they took some money. So that's Jeff. I think if you go to page 17, here's another interesting thing. You see all these pictures. If we assume these pictures are correct, what is a person doing with a camera at the jail on August 10th at 7 or 6 a.m. in the morning or 7 o'clock, taking pictures of this guy? Like, how do they know that to have a camera at the ready?
I would
like you just I'm just gonna have my own personal camera, or maybe this is a cell phone picture or something. I don't know.
I would have to say either it's a cell phone picture or they have a departmental camera. Yeah. But you're right.
Look at his neck.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
And I think this document has, he's been tagged. He has something on his left arm that looks like rosacea or something. If you go to page 20,
that looks a little suspicious there.
This is supposedly how he killed himself, was with this cloth tie.
See, look 20. At what's with all this fucking orange. How did he make this big of a freaking mess? And without anyone knowing, ridiculous, man. Come on. Look at
go to 20.
Jesus.
There it is.
That's right. Here we go.
This is supposedly what caused those deep kind of burns into his neck. And
I don't see it, man. I just do not see that. No.
And if you scroll down, they said, there was a guy, Bodden, who said it, but there was another forensic anthropology unit member who did his autopsy, and her name was Kristen Roman, and his cartilage was broken on both sides of his neck and his hyoid bone, which is very consistent with strangulation, a real deep strangulation. It's one of those things that's it's a tell for strangulation, because to strangle somebody, you got to really supposedly get deep in there for a long period of time.
What about the abrasions of mouth, rib fractures, laceration with him? Are all what are all of these consistent with hanging? Rib fractures, abrasions of the mouth,
abrasions. I think if they're trying to resuscitate you, they will sometimes break your ribs. So that is actually consistent with something.
Okay. That's fair.
But the abrasions of left forearm, you can see those on the picture. Why is that there? Did somebody punch him? How did you get those? That's odd. Somebody might have grabbed him and kept him down, we're going to strangle you.
Yeah. Look at subcutaneous hemorrhage of left deltoid muscle.
Right. If you scroll back up, you can see that. You can see that on picture. I just saw.
Well, you can see on his hand there. It's pretty red. You can see. Look at
there.
It's
page 18. You got it. Yeah, page 18.
Oh, okay. In his shoulder there. Look at that's pretty red, and look at that. That's yeah.
It's sus. Okay, I'm gonna beat myself up before I hang myself.
I think you can see the mouth abrasions better there too, if that's what we're seeing. I don't know though, but yeah, you're right. Oh yeah, there we go. Look at that. Look at his fucking lip. So they're saying that he got that big fucking gash on his lip from them trying to resuscitate him. I'm pretty sure that's what they're trying to say. That seems sketchy to me.
The whole story's sketchy. He's constantly saying, I'm not suicidal.
Yeah.
I am not suicidal. Okay, Jeff, you're back from court. I want you to sign this document that says you're suicidal.
You're suicidal, right? Now you're suicidal, right? Like every
Right.
moment, like I wonder how many times between that timeline they asked him. Like, I'm sure there were times where they just kind of casually said, "You want to sign it? Like, you want to sign the form? Let us know you're suicidal," and they just didn't document it. So there could be so many instances where he's said, "No, I am not suicidal." And again, his demeanor, knowing his demeanor in that moment would be extra interesting. So that's
Sure
great.
would. I mean, but it just shows how sketchy the whole situation was. Like, so I don't think he committed suicide. I think he was murdered. I think they got him.
Is there
I think
a
they got him in jail to kill him. That's my opinion.
Oh,
I
and
think the
there's
evidence shows that he's dead. Like all this evidence, multiple people with the body, and if they faked it, I tip my hat to them because it's one of the best fake jobs I've ever seen for sure.
I'll just throw this out there. If you come across the toxicology report connected to this, I would love to talk to you about that on the show sometime. So if you ever do,
I have a lot of the docs, so I just have to go back through them. But I recall seeing in this report, this data set, that they had a lot of documentation of his time in jail. They really over documented it.
I want to. That's something we should talk about doing like a deep dive on the prison time.
Yeah,
that's really interesting stuff. So we'll
such an important figure. This guy really blackmailed a lot of people, a lot of celebrities, politicians, so many people in science and stuff. Like if you want to open that Trivers document,
yeah, that's
which I think is really a revelatory because it shows that they're literally transhumanists and trying to, like, they're talking about creating a new phenotype, like not like male to female
phenotype,
like a new kind of human by lessening the intake of testosterone and heightening the receptivity of estrogen in men.
Damn.
So like
this is scary shit, man. That's what I'm saying. Epstein had big plans.
Yeah, it's bad.
He had
it's
big
really,
plans
really
for the future. So
this you can just kind of go through. This guy's in there. He's in the files a number of times. He's friends and he's networked with a lot of these evolutionary biologists. And he had problems at universities. He had kind of a turbulent academic career, is a way to put it, I would say. But he was always talking to Jeff. And I think that one of this email is on page 4 is really incredible. If you feel like reading it, go ahead and read it.
Sure. From Robert Trivers.
2018, so it's not that long ago.
Right. Perfect. December 17th, 2018. Robert Trivers to Jeffrey Epstein. It is very simple. I will compare male to female with female to male. With greater molecular control over development, we are increasingly capable of producing novel phenotypes, more feminine men, by blocking testosterone receptors or castration, and at the same time increasing estrogen production. The one box, I don't know if that's supposed to mean blocks. The one blocks male features, the second encourages female features. More masculine women. Heavy testosterone dosage, incredible external effects, heavily bearded men. You would never guess they had a female bone in their body. First kind male to female is 4 times more frequent than female to male. The first is attractive. He is a woman with a cock. So that if your fantasy is to suck a man's dick, otherwise you are completely heterosexual. It would be much nicer if the rest of the organism is female. Then you get the best of both worlds. So many transsexual women are very attractive and easily make money, which in turn they assert promotes their prostitution since they have to pay hefty fees for injections every week. Oh my God, this is wild. But they are sexually happy Once you have reached manhood, even castration does not prevent the sensation of organism. I don't
I
know.
think you
Okay.
meant to say orgasm, but it's
Orgasm. Okay.
spell corrected or something.
Does not prevent the sensation of orgasm. Contrast the poor female to male versions. They are unhappy and lonely. They are men with mum pums, the worst of both worlds. If you like smelly masculine men, you want that hard cock that comes with the show. You do not want one of nature's most complex and variable structures, the pum pum. That is an acquired taste, and not with a man. There are hundreds of female trans videos and websites. I have never seen a male one. By the way, we are now pushing the intervention earlier. Oh my God, what is this? By the way, we are now pushing the intervention earlier. So you notice your 3-year-old son has trans tendencies. So now you intervene with hormones. I would be frightened to do that, but who knows? Holy shit, man. Wow.
We are increasingly capable of producing novel phenotypes. Go look at the men today. Look at how many are skinny with like pencil necks and like are almost like twinks, like gay twink people, you know?
Dude, I see way more of those kind of men these days, it seems. It
They
seems
didn't
they are
exist in the
outnumbered.
numbers that I saw when I was, I'm 57, so you just don't see like super. Maybe we've all been urbanized or I live in an urban environment, but I feel like there is this change in phenotypes is real, man. Like I'm not kidding.
Holy cow. So,
Yeah.
wow.
I mean, some
Wow.
people call this guy Pinker, who's tied into all these things with Epstein and Richard Dawkins, and they've been on planes together. There's this Edge Foundation. He called Trivers one of the greatest thinkers in the history of Western thought. And there's all kinds of advice going on, like email exchanges between Epstein and Pinker. And Pinker's been on like Rogan. Like all these people have been on Rogan. It's really crazy. Yeah. Rogan is like a nexus point for the Epstein network. That's what's really incredible.
It makes total sense. It makes total sense.
He's had Krause. He's had Epstein's personal chef who traveled with him constantly.
Right.
His name is Adam Perry. And this has raised a lot of red flags and a lot of questions. Adam on never asked him a question about Epstein. Like he was first person saw all that stuff. Then you have Pinker, Krause, who are all over the Epstein files. They're all on Rogan. It's so crazy. I wonder if he's at Dawkins too. Anyway, this is just an incredible set of documents.
Wow.
Yeah.
So okay. Wow. I knew that he had the chef on, but he didn't ask him any. What did they talk about?
His life and his opening restaurants or something. I don't think he asked Adam Perry anything.
Joe Rogan is such a cuck sometimes. It's ridiculous. The game this guy
Well,
plays.
that raises a lot of questions. It raised a lot of questions to me.
Me too, man. Like
he has people who are friends with the guy I covered in the West Memphis 3. He has a guy who's friends with Damien Eccles, who's had Damien Eccles on his show. So it's like what's like
it's crazy. Yeah. Like Rogan's become such a corporate type, like an entity now, and people still trust him as if he's still funny old Joe Rogan, the comedian who makes dick jokes and looks for Bigfoot and UFOs. He's not the same guy. Like he pushes back on a lot of stuff that you wouldn't think he would push back on. So
he just promoted recently that film Age of Disclosure, which to me is totally fake. Like the whole UFO phenomenon is just one big talk about a mythology.
Okay.
But that's another show. If you go to page 7, it's an interesting document. It just involves Epstein, but like they want health papers on a lot of interesting stuff. Neurotechnologies as weapons in national intelligence. This is from 2017, before the pandemic, right? But the real kicker is number 5 there at the bottom, which is follow-up recommendations or technical specifications for strain pandemic simulation. So that's to Bill Gates and another guy, Larry Cohen, but it's part of this chain. And I think it's
You
very
know-
telling. Like
Hmm.
people in
You know
your
what-
chat, somebody in the chat asked about the pandemic. So there's your evidence that something was going on between these guys prior to this. Epstein's also associated with a guy for one of the big pharma companies. His name is Wolf. He's all over Epstein's email chains prior to the pandemic. And we know Gates was heavily involved. And you know the story about Gates and like he got the clap, he got some STD, and then was going to secretly give his wife penicillin. Like that's a tough one to take if you're married to that guy.
That's
like, to
wild.
be exposed, yeah. And these guys are all lying. Gates is heavily involved with this dude.
Fuck. Wow. Wild, man. Crazy. That's scary, dude. That's fucking scary as hell. The future is now. Because the future is now because Epstein and his buddies have been planning it for a long time. Holy shit, man.
And they can put the money in the right spots. There's statements within the files about him talking about with the Rothschild, Randy Rothschild, that Ukraine is going to be a moneymaker, right? And so you see these guys making investments based upon political and cultural things that are happening. So they're monetizing all of their actions, or all these warfares or these pandemics are monetized.
Because they know what's going to happen, right? They have
they're making it happen. Like that's the whole thing about the Epstein network. And the Epstein network is deep in the Trump administration. That guy Lutnick, who's always at Trump's side, is tied directly to Epstein.
You got that right.
And lived next to Epstein.
He lived next, and he told a story about how he went over there, and
they're all full of crap.
The first few minutes, him and his wife looked at each other, and they left, and she said, "I don't want you ever going to see that guy again." And he said, "Trust me, honey, I'll never go see that guy again. He's creepy." And then like just goes on to spend all this fucking time with them. Like,
it's just
these guys are all disgusting. Like, you cannot.
Trump, has an arm's length, but he was on Jeffrey's 50-year birthday mailer. One of his best friends was Trump, and Trump is in these files all the way back in the 90s. And Epstein is saying stuff privately about Trump that isn't good. To Bannon, fairly recently, he calls Trump dangerous. This is a lot of stuff that isn't positive, that he probably never thought would ever see the light of day. If you go down to number 9, slide 9, I had duplicated a couple of those unintentionally, but you'll see that Trivers took 40,000 from Epstein. This is from Wikipedia. This is not me. Trivers said of Epstein's assaults on underage girls, by the time they're 14 or 15, they're grown women, so I don't see the act so heinous. Well, that's the myth. Just like we went through, there's kids. There's like prepubescent kids being trafficked and infants. So this is part of it. I think that it's a knowing, in my opinion, it's a knowing response. Like, oh, they're just like Lolita, That's not the case.
Trivers said Epstein is a person of integrity who should be given credit for serving time in prison and for getting civil lawsuits brought by women who said they were abused. And for settling civil lawsuits brought by women who, so he's a man of integrity. Sure, he's a pedophile rapist, but he spent some time in jail and he settled some lawsuits for the women that he raped. He's a great guy. Like, it's unbelievable that they print that they're okay printing that. They just say that, and they think that it'll just go away.
That's his
unbelievable.
Yeah, that's his statement. Then there was an FBI investigation crisis intake document about Trivers that I include here. And these guys are all, according to what statements, almost all of them are like deviants, man. Like they're all pervy. There's, in my opinion, not even my opinion. Psychology Today. So this guy who did the Edge, I don't know if you're familiar with the Edge Foundation or any of the Edge.
Yeah.
Okay. But they were to me, it was an influence op about all these Silicon Valley guys, like the richest top of Silicon Valley, Musk, Sergey Brin, Bezos, all these characters would go there, and and Epstein would show up too. But that was a kind of a networking thing supposedly. But this is one to Jeff. Psychology Today, Trivers Pursuit. Renegade scientist Robert Trivers is lauded as one of our great thinkers, despite irking academia with blunt talk and bad manners. Seems like this is from 2016. He got fired from Rutgers. They mention it in the files. He's included in other things. One of the interesting things is that Epstein is associated with very rich people. This is one Gordon Getty. Do you know the Gordon Getty family and all that stuff?
A little bit, yeah.
Well, Getty is very influential in California. There's the Getty museums, like all these. The Getty Foundation actually is like in the billions. It has money in the billions. Gordon seems to be, I think he's kind of a eugenicist. I think he had two just separate families. And he's also a big supporter of Gavin Newsom. Like I think his son was in business with Newsom. They had a wine business together. So you see this connection between Epstein to Getty to Newsom. But the fact that Getty's in here is like a huge finance. I mean, the Getty family is their net worth was at one point in the billions. It got, diluted because they had a lot of kids and stuff like that. But the Getty family itself is a whole nother story. But the fact that they're included in this chain with Trivers is a big tell for me that these guys are interested in what Trivers is up to. There's also mentions of this girl that she's being financed by Epstein, and she's just an abortionist. So it's kind of eugenics of killing people. So my understanding is Epstein was funding things that would lead to people having abortions. There's Gordon Getty to Robert Trivers. It's in there. This is from 2013. His Wikipedia page is interesting. Bob Trivers. There's a check in here from an Epstein Foundation. This is from 21 to Dr. Robert Trivers. More intake files and things like that. Jeffrey asked him, "Do you want me to fund something?" in 2015. He's talking about what he's doing in his life, Trivers. So very close, like personal connection between Epstein and Trivers. But this, let's show you this last document. This is kind of like the biggest tell of what they were up to, was just the most malevolent, evil stuff imaginable. I don't know why they let this document pop through. If you can pop that one up with a red.
Oh, okay.
This seems to be from a young teen girl. She wrote this in a scrapbook. You can see that, she's got the ring binders there.
Bingo dabber. Yeah.
Yeah, if you go to page 3, I'll read it. So sorry, Jeffrey. These things happen when your body has never been given time to properly heal. So it came out in the toilet. I didn't know what to do, so I flushed the tiny little fetus. You have made me numb, and I hate you for this. I hope I never have to see you again. I'm not your personal incubator. Where's the baby? Where's Ghislaine?
So
what she's saying is like she had a miscarriage.
Yeah.
But also that she has healed
baby
from the last one or something. And she writes in this.
But is she saying that to herself?
I think this is just like a personal notebook.
Yeah.
Sorry. And she actually this is kind of an easily discernible. You can see on the top, sorry, Jeffrey, things happen when your body has been not given time to heal.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Properly heal. Oh, okay, so I get it. It's top letter, bottom letter, top letter, bottom letter, top letter, bottom letter. So that's how you read it. Interesting. Sorry, I just I Wow. Okay, that's crazy.
Yeah, if you go down to page 8, 9, let's see, how about 10 or 11 says, I should have so sad the city could be beautiful and weren't filled with monsters. The blood from Leon is no longer there. I don't know what that means.
Leon.
Like, is that our baby
Leon.
or something?
There we go. Wow.
13, tomorrow is halfway ultrasound for Jeffrey. This one stuck. So I think what she's saying is that they deliberately re-impregnated her again.
Yeah, and it's stuck, as in it's taking.
The
Like it's
baby
actually
is right. After they took the first baby who survived in the early miscarriage, I think it was called I No Longer Feel Like a Person But a Vessel. Will they take this one too? Who has the first one? Where did Ghislaine go? She's never around. I can't let myself get attached. I'm not old or mature enough to even in the place to have a baby that I'll be responsible for. I'm not even able to focus on anything other than hiding this again. I had to go to eating disorder treatment prior to being in this situation again and missed the entire fall semester of school. She's still in high school. I'm so very exhausted. My body feels so tired. Will I ever be free? Who is this person? This is evidence of a crime. It's baby trafficking or baby incubating. And I want my tax dollars to find this out.
And we don't know.
Ask.
We don't know whose notebook this is.
I don't think
Okay.
it's the you can find in the records. It's EFTA 0202 731 393.
Yeah.
This is just one of many, by the way. There's other notebooks. Like I'm just showing you one.
Another thing that this is crazy, William. Thanks for showing all this to us. This is one thing that I pull from that, and it's so heartbreaking. Is that obviously this girl, this young, innocent girl, is going through some grossly traumatic situations and experiences here, and still in her mind, and she's writing it out. She says, "Where is Ghislaine?" And I read that it almost as if, and just kind of, I also read Virginia Giuffre's book. I just pick up the sense that Ghislaine was such a good manipulator that not only she helped get these girls to do this, but obviously they felt some sort of weird bond with Jeffrey, but they almost felt like they had like a mother in Ghislaine or something like that. And it's
so. It's woman to woman, yeah.
So goddamn sad.
This is just one of many. Like some of these people are dead. There's girls who dropped off of like buildings and stuff in New York City. Like it's eyes wide shut level. This is totally dark. I don't know what happened to the kids, where they ate them, sacrificed them. I have no idea. But I want my tax dollars to find out. Somebody tell Kash Patel to get it right on this. Like how is this? Go get Ghislaine and start asking her real questions. Page 715. I'm such a monster. I didn't console her. I can't unhear her screams. They haunt me. I couldn't even bring myself to look at her. I'm a monster. I deserve to be haunted by her screams. I'm so sorry. I'm so broken.
What was that? Oh, sorry. Go down. What was that picture there with the little kid? Yeah, right there.
Yeah,
is that like
babies?
That's just art. Oh, okay. Jesus. Oh, and then look at
there's the ultrasound.
There's
right.
the ultra. Holy shit, William! Like
that could be a piece of evidence right there if they keep
that's what I'm saying. Like that holy shit, man. Like, do people like us need to solve this whole goddamn case? Like,
yes.
Unbelievable,
that's how corrupt
man.
it is. Yeah.
Unfucking believable.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's so bad. I mean, we can go in Zorro Ranch where they're like talking about 2 dead bodies in the things. I mean, we don't know. We don't know like what the total extent of it. There people are putting it together, so the people are coming from different angles. But anybody who tells you that this is not important is lying or ignoring it. I think they're just going to omit this stuff. That's really going to be their like approach. Is you blame Russia for the total idiots, and then ignore the rest. Like, oh no, this isn't important. But they've been doing it for a long time, and I think that's how you can kind of tell somebody with integrity who's an authentic journalist is like, yeah, this is important. Let's look into this. And the people ignoring it are people who hate your guts and want you to live like a slave and pay your taxes to pedophiles and child traffickers and child rapists. Like, why would you want that? Like this is easy. So
Crazy.
this
So
is bad.
sad,
There's
like,
another. Let me see if I can find the other one. You want to
look at that comment at the end there. Will I ever be free? Oh, so sad, man.
Maybe not.
Unbelievable. I feel like
See
that
if I
girl is
can find
probably dead
those.
by now. Wow.
Let's see. I have another one.
And you honestly, man, Eyes Wide Shut just sums it up so well. It's so eerie. So eerie.
Let's see.
Crazy.
Let me see if I can find another one. There's a lot of these the weird, PDF, like that's how kids express themselves. I'm assuming this one is a 16-year-old because it says 16 on the outside of this thing. So I'm assuming this is it. Let's see. You bring that one up. So 16-year-old, old enough to drive, too young to go anywhere fun.
Oh, that's William. That looks like a birthday card.
Right.
Looks like she's cut the birthday card.
Has a name from
And the other one-
Tonya, somebody else. Happy Sweet 16. I love you. Jeff or something. I don't know. So she's 16. And you can see this funeral, watches and weeps. That Miami bum. She lied. She lied about what is happening. I mean, these are not that hard. You just kind of have to get used to looking.
My mom lied. Wow, I wonder if the mom was.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
To get away from Ray. So can she help? The Ruer, I think I may be abnormal or something. I don't know. Somebody's kind of gone through these. Let me see if I can find this. Oh, here's one. Let's see. Can you bring this one up? I think it's from this one. It's this guy. They are always flights of horror, whether it's with Jeffrey, Mr. Leonsis, Mr. Case, Mr. Snyder, the Gregories, Mr. Colgan, or one being borrowed by a seemingly good federal worker and all even rented. It is all horror, and nothing is as it seems. I'm so confused by everything, and people you expect to be good, like even old senators like George Mitchell, who you think will be like Grandpa, are bad. Mr. Kimsey is deranged. The answer is C, crazy it all is. Wow. Like, who are these names? I've heard Mitchell. If you've read that whole thing about Frey, she said she was sent to Mitchell.
Yeah.
Among others, Richardson. So it's just.
And look at the. It says the more you pay, the more you get. And she, it says A, yes, B, no, or C, crazy. And she says C, crazy. And, oh, good. You'll pull it up.
How many more times? How more times than I can count? Yachts. So this is like this yachting thing is a known thing where these rich guys, to get away from it's, prying eyes or anybody, they take their prostitutes, yachters, victims out on yachts. Part of the thing. So like there's literally like a madam or somebody who lines up women to go to Mediterranean or Arab countries or sheiks or whatever to be on their yachts and have sex. So I think that this is valid. How would a kid know this unless she's done it, right?
This girl is smart. Like if you notice these three things she's pasted into her book, she's coded them into her writing. The flights of horror, the horror, that's the first thing there. See crazy, that comes up at the end. And then talking about how many times more than I can count, I think that comes up somewhere in there as well.
It's a horror show. This is, I'm just scratching the surface, guys.
Wild. Crazy. Yeah, it looks like a cipher. It does. It looks like some sort of cipher. That's crazy.
It's truly just an up-down thing. You can just see it. Yeah,
it's up, down, up, down. Yeah.
Wire. They are always, you can kind of read across it.
I wonder if she did that just so people looking over her shoulder couldn't read it right away.
I bet this is cathartic for her to write it down, you know, just like people who go through trauma. These people are really traumatized. These are demon people, guys. Ghislaine and Jeff and whoever these other people are, they're all the worst people imaginable. And some of them are walking free. Like they said, I said at the beginning, they couldn't find the co-conspirators, but we can find them. We're talking about them. Like, you're involved in like ruining a 16-year-old girl's life. She should be freaking at the roller rink or something, you know?
Like, based on what we have here and based on what Virginia has said, how come there's not more about Mitchell? How come we haven't been heard like Mitchell is directly being investigated? He's being like,
yeah, he luckily went to the grave with his stuff. So did Richardson. I think Mitchell's gone.
Oh, okay, my mistake.
No, but I mean, these guys, they outlasted the researchers, I think.
Do you want to, before we go, do you want to step through this one to finish her off?
Sure. I mean, I think that this one is just basically shows that they were investigating the FBI. This is an FBI DOJ document where they're talking about it in 2021. Wealthy, influential individuals involved in sex trafficking likely rely primarily on referrals and career enhancement promises to entice victims, representing an expansion of traditional sex trafficking techniques. And then they use Epstein as an example. So they're playing dumb. It's just totally lame. Just cannot believe these bums, man. They're just total bums.
Unbelievable.
Let me see if I can find some of these. I mean, there's just so many documents. I don't know how they compiled them. People sent in stories. There's like one, like, I don't even know if this one's real. Like, this is like what they're saying. Somebody tell me if this is like they're using a euphemism or not, but read that first sentence.
What do we got here? How are you doing? Can you zoom it in just a little bit? Oh, this one. Okay. Yeah. This one. Ask him if Putin has the photos of Trump blowing Bubba. I mean, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's his brother says, "What is your boy Donald up to now?" And then he's all good. Bannon with me. So he's with Bannon. Jeffrey tells his brother, Bannon's with me. And then the response from his brother is, ask Bannon if Putin has the photos of Trump blowing Bubba. Who's Bubba? Is that Clinton?
Wow.
Are you saying that, is this an actual statement, right? Are you saying that Trump actually is blowing Bubba?
Or is this an inside joke?
An inside joke? I don't know.
Oh, man.
Genuinely don't know. I do not know.
What is your boy Donald up to? Your boy.
Right, he's your boy. Like, that's kind of like he's like the little pet, right?
Yep.
So how's your little pet? What's your pet up to? Wow. There's just I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on.
I thought this was funny. I don't know if you saw this, but the birthday card that popped up in DC, like a huge novelty one with markers for people to sign it.
No, I didn't see. Oh yeah, that's the one that's from Epstein's 50th birthday, right?
Yeah. To a terrific guy. Yeah.
There's mentions of Savile in here. I've done the breeding stuff, like, wow, the Trivers things.
That's a good one too. look into. Savile.
Here's this. We can finish off with this one. Here it is. This
Yeah,
is the
man.
reading one.
No rush.
This is document EFTA 01003966. Jeffrey Epstein, 2018. No rushy response. Brian Bishop, I don't know who this is, but he sent something to Jeff saying, attaches the doc you requested. It's the use of funds spreadsheet for the designer baby and human cloning company. This gets us out of our self-funded garage biology phase to the first live birth of a human designer baby and possibly a human clone within 5 years. So that's 2018. Once we reach the first birth, everything changes and the world will never be the same again, much less the future of the human species. The attached doc shows 1.7 year per year for up to 5 years, 1 million for lab setup. Next steps, I'm happy to hop on another call or could take a trip to meet you in person. If you have any thoughts about what I might be missing or whether this is a reasonable estimate to get it to the first live birth, then I would really appreciate any feedback you have. They're talking about creating a whole new species. The world will never be the same and the future of the human species. So that whole thing about phenotypes with Trivers,
Yeah.
I don't know who Brian Bishop is. I have to research him. But this is 2018. And you can see the subject. Read designer babies for use of funds. He needs money to create designer babies. What are they doing with that little 16-year-old girl?
Well,
Who's
seriously?
impregnating her? Are they trying to have sex with her, or are they inseminating her or something?
So just to add for you, I thought I would check. So based on documents released in early 2026, Brian Bishop is a cryptocurrency entrepreneur who communicated with Epstein in 2018 regarding a potential investment in a designer baby project. So there you go. He's a crypto guy. He's a money guy, basically.
But like I said, what's Getty doing with Trivers on a thread, right? Like these guys are interested in it. It's
They're
not
all
just their financing, but they are doing private industry. This isn't like financed by the government. Like this is a huge issue. Like what is going on? This is a national security issue. If they're tampering with the human genome, like what are you doing? Like you're not going to marshal all your forces to figure out if this is operational. Is this operational? It says 5 years. What's the date today? 2026. They're doing it in 2018, 5 years. We're 3 years late. What's going on? What are you doing? What is Kash Patel doing? What is Bondi doing? What is Trump doing? What is this Blanche guy doing?
And
you're going to change the whole human species and nobody's going to have any oversight and you're sitting on your thumbs?
Yeah, you break. All you could do is hope that because of what happened with Epstein that kind of got tabled. But it's interesting how this Brian Bishop, he's supposed to be a crypto guy, but here I found another email here from to Jeffrey Epstein vacation at gmail.com. So I guess he's away on vacation right now getting these emails. I'm sure you have seen the news. Short version of the core technical problem. There's a high mosaicism because of their technique, meaning only a low percentage of cells in the body have any of the modifications. My team has been working on a new technique which does not involve stem cells in the testes. Instead, it's an embryo editing technique. More similar to cloning, which does not require an injection to the biodad. The idea hit us like a bolt of lightning. So we're moving along in that direction. So they're just like you said, no oversight. They're just like, dude, let's do this, let's do that. Meanwhile, our overseas lab has reported some mouse testes transfection results. They are observing maybe 5% transfection efficiency, which might be enough. Further testing is ongoing, but ultimately this method is inferior to our new embryo modification technique. Talk soon, Brian. That's a lot for just a crypto guy. Like, that's fucking wild.
Sure is.
That's
I got to
scary.
run. I got to wrap it up.
All right, William. Always a pleasure. We're gonna have to hook up again
Thanks for meeting
soon
me up.
because this just keeps going and going, and you always bring a lot of fucking awesome receipts. So before you go,
It just gets worse and worse the more you look at this stuff.
Yeah,
it's a horror show. It's literally
horror
like a modern day horror show. And the fact that the government's doing nothing is just,
they're just wallpapering over it. With
it's
the
just,
media.
they're trying to cover it up, and it's a catastrophe. It's going to blow up in all these people's faces once people digest what's going on. They're going to go, what are you guys doing?
Yeah,
They
we're
have
gonna
immense resources
put
too.
up with this.
Yeah, it's so sick.
Where can people find you, William?
William Ramsey Investigates podcast. My website's the same. I've got 5 books on Amazon, and yeah, that's about. I have a Patreon too. You can go to William Ramsey Investigates. Put a lot of my stuff up there with no advertisement, and I post a lot of stuff. I'm pretty responsive on my Patreon too. So if you have any tips or anything you want to send them. That's probably the best place where there's not too much oversight. You can send me stuff there. Send emails.
Right on, man.
All right, man.
Always
Peace.
a pleasure.
All the best.
To
Yeah,
you.
Jordan.
Yeah, all the best to you. We'll
Yeah.
we'll connect really soon. All right, man.
All right.
See you,
Cheers.
William.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. William Ramsey, ladies and gentlemen, that was a deep one. We're gonna have to start digging more deep into these Epstein documents. I'm gonna have to download all the data sets and maybe start poking around. I mean, there's so much to talk about. I don't want to just focus on Epstein, but I do want to try to bring you guys as much good stuff as I can. So thanks for everyone for watching. Thanks to everyone in the chat, listeners, viewers. I appreciate you guys all. Appreciate all the support. If you haven't already, please go subscribe to the Divulgence podcast on YouTube, Rumble. Also, please follow us on Spotify, wherever else you get your podcasts. It's hard as being a small guy without millions of dollars behind you. I'm not Dan Bongino or Tucker Carlson or Pierce Morgan or Candace or any of those motherfuckers, but I do my best to bring you guys the best I can, and I just hope you guys support me. So you can check me out there. Also on X at Divulgence Pod. Also, I'm now affiliated with Scott Horton and the Scott Horton Academy. So make sure to check that out. Lots of great stuff. I had Scott on yesterday to talk about the Academy a little bit. So if you want to check that out, but go to scotthortonacademy.com/divulgence and you'll get a kick-ass discount on either the year subscription or the lifetime subscription. And I respect Scott a lot. He does a lot of great work. So make sure to please go check him out. Check out his academy. He's got a lot of different classes in there already. He's going to be adding a lot more over time. And it's great. It's almost like you're actually taking a professional course, because you are. They track the courses. They keep track of everything for you. They let you know what's new, what's going on, what to know about, all that great stuff. So please check that out. Again, if you want a discount, scotthortonacademy.com/divulgence. And again, thanks to you all you guys for supporting me. If you have any tips or guest recommendations, if you feel like you want to come on the show, anything like that, please reach out to me on X or divulgencepod@gmail.com. Guess that's it for now, guys. We have a lot more great shows coming up this month. We have Ollie Demigard coming on. Jake, aka the XQ Shaman, he's coming on. All sorts of great shows booked. So stay tuned for that, and enjoy the rest of your day. Be well, guys. Take care.